Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. A record-breaking night for your Miami Heat tonight as they beat the New Orleans Pelicans by 49 points, 153 to 104. Miami absolutely throttled them, mostly surrounding a just dominant third quarter where Miami outscored the Pelicans 39 to 18, but then somehow even put up more points in the fourth quarter. They put up a 43 spot in the fourth quarter and end up getting the franchise record for most points in a game. Miami, as far as the standings is concerned tonight, we'll get to that here in just a second, but just a little look back at some of the highlights from tonight's game. And, I think the things that stood out immediately, it was a Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo no bullshit game. These guys came out and they absolutely stepped on the neck of the poor New Orleans Pelicans, who, are basically fielding a G League team. No disrespect. I mean, the only NBA player that's really out there for them is Jose Alvarado. Everybody else is either a has-been or pretty much just a fringe G leaguer, although I was pretty happy to see Jamal Cain out there. I am a huge Jamal Cain fan. Big fan of the Cain train. I think that man has mastered the art of the sneaky putback. He just gets those offensive rebounds and is just so damn good at getting points. He puts up 26 points against his former club today, and really had everything working for him. He got to the free throw line. He got the three-point shot going. He was like the lone Pelican that showed up today in 35 minutes of action. So shout out to Jamal Cain. Always been a fan of his. Always will be a fan of his. And he was really great tonight. But Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro tonight, I think the number you go to immediately with him, honestly, is plus minus in a game where the Heat were win by 49. Mind you, these guys both played 22 minutes. And the Kentucky Wildcats were both plus 46 in 22 minutes of action tonight. Bam had 23 points. He was 8 of 12. But the big thing that stands out for him, 4 of 6 from downtown. He sets himself a career high for makes in a game. And we're going to get to Bam's three-pointer here in just a second because a pretty significant leap for him this season. What likely will be his final regular season game of the season. Tyler Herro, unstoppable tonight. 22 points for him, 7 of 10 from downtown. They mentioned this on the broadcast. I totally agree. Tyler was very good again to the free throw line today. He had 6 attempts. And mind you, again, these are all numbers that they did in basically 20 minutes of action tonight. So they got right after it. And Bam also, they put out this celly, by the way, of Bam hitting a 3-ball and I don't know if he was banged up or if he was faking a Charlie horse or something like that. I hope somebody asked him about what the hell that was. They said, what celly is this on the Heat social media account? Admin put it out, and I got to know what that is. That was really, really funny. But some just really, really fun plays. Kel'el Ware in this one as well. The warehouse. Dude just stretches out his extraterrestrial arms and just grabs the ball and just gets it back for a putback slam. I love watching Kel'el Ware play basketball, man. It really, really is a thrill. Did you see on social media, speaking of the Heat Twitter account, his parents today, they were both at the game, and they were wearing jerseys. But it wasn't just that they were wearing they weren't wearing jerseys that said Ware on the back. Kel'el Ware's parents were wearing jerseys that say on the back, Kryptonian. That's goosies, dude. I mean, that is goosies on top of goosies. You have a jersey with your son's number and it says Kryptonian on the back. That's cold, dude. I may need to get that. I haven't bought a jersey in a while. I may need to follow suit with the with Ware's parents. Though that is a badass jersey. Kryptonian on the back. Man, he does some superhero things out there, that's for sure. But that was a really, really cool thing. Duncan Robinson set some kerosene onto the court and was lighting it up from downtown. Had a 4-point play early on in the second quarter. Really was just, had that all working. Haywood Heiser with the steal and slam. And then Bam, just like with an easy cheese spin and dunk to close out the first half. Miami was up 71-54, and you were like, that's a pretty healthy lead that you're taking into halftime. And they were just getting started from there. Tyler Herro came out guns blazing there in the third quarter, and then Bam just was like attacking, getting putbacks and hitting three balls, and then threw a lob to Kel'el Ware, which was just like, love that connection that duo has together. They were smoking them. But in the midst of all of this, we learned that Miami was officially locked into the 10th seed because easy work was being done on the other side of the country. Up the coast, I guess you would say. The Hawks, they handled the Sixers 124-110, and the Bulls, they smoked the Wizards, who the Heat, of course, have on Sunday afternoon, 119-89. So I believe everybody is locked in now. I know for the sure the Heat are locked in, but I believe everybody, with the Bulls winning tonight, everybody is locked into their spots. There's really nothing to play for. Yeah, it's official. Okay. So the Bulls are the 9th seed in the East, and they will get to host the Heat Wednesday for the play-in. So that is where that's going to be, and we are all set. It is going to be play-in with Bulls and Heat in an elimination game, and then the Hawks at Heat for the 7-seed game. Loser of that will play the winner of the 9-10. So there you go. That is your scenario. I can't imagine Eric Spoelstra is going to play Bam and Tyler specifically, and Andrew Wiggins. I would guess those are the three guys that won't play in this upcoming game, knowing, just veteran status where they're at. I would imagine those three guys sit. Maybe Alec Burks, but I would say those three guys, start, maybe Davion Mitchell. Maybe he doesn't want to play Davion Mitchell. I think those are like the three guys. The one thing that I am excited for, though, on Sunday is Keyshawn Johnson minutes. And let me tell you something. Keyshawn Johnson did not disappoint in this fourth quarter. We got a little key. We got, Rozier and Jaime were out there in some garbage time. So, they kind of speaks to the season there. Like that's where that's one of the things that's kind of a negative of that. It's like, Jesus, these guys are out there playing in a 50-point blowout against the Pels. Yeesh. And you probably thought like, oh, these guys are going to be huge contributors this year. Wrong. But Keyshawn Johnson had some slam action. Oh, my God. The reverse jam that he puts up. Dude, Keyshawn Johnson's dunks are a party, dude. The kid is so athletic. I really cannot wait to see what he turns into. I think he's going to be something good. I really, really do. And I know that he's been cooking this year, and he's gotten the whole G League experience, and he hasn't gotten much playing time. I really think he could be. He's just so athletic. He's got a lot of steals in the G League. I don't. And I think that yes, is the jump shot like trustable? I mean, I don't know if that's like his go-to, but I will say, as a guy who I see him more, I don't think he's an awful shooter. So I'm very much looking forward to what he can bring. And he is built like a house, super athletic, wingspan for days. He's a specimen. He truly is. He's an athletic specimen. And I really, really cannot wait. I'm looking forward to Sunday, truthfully. See the guys, I want to see the Summer League guys get their chance to kind of shine together against a Wizards team. I don't imagine Pella's going to play because he's banged up with his injury. But that was it. Miami wins 153-104. Bam Adebayo had a couple of things that were of note to say. First of all, he was asked from Eric Reed about the season, and his immediate reaction was, we've been through a lot of He wanted to say we've been through a lot of this year. He did back it off. It was like he almost got called for the false start, but the referee caught him. He goes, we're good. So he made it back. They've been through a lot of stuff this year. So, I do. It's just going to be interesting to know when the autopsy of the season ends, like when everything is done, what is going to be said about the toll that it took and everything. I don't think it warrants them being, 7 games under 500. But it is what it is. This is where they're at. Understand that, yes, they had a lot of distractions to go through. It's not nothing, but does it warrant the worst losing streak we'd seen in 15 years? No, I don't think that they were that bad. And I know that there were some weird ones in there as well. Miami also, by the way, a record set today, 10 double-digit scorers today in this game. Jaime Jaquez, 11 points. Davion Mitchell, 11 points. Keyshawn Johnson had 10 points in 7 minutes. Haywood Highsmith, 10 points. Duncan Robinson had 21. Tyler Herro, 22. Bam led with 23. And each starter in double digits. Burks, 12. Wiggins, 10. And Kel'el Ware, 10 points, 11 rebounds. But Bam also said on Kel'el Ware that he's one of the quickest learners that he's ever been around. Really the first guy that he's mentored, which I think is interesting because I think a lot of people said that about Bam. A lot of the veterans, even at a young age, Bam was younger than Kel'el coming into the league because Kel'el played 2 years of college. But a lot of people said the same thing. Not a guy that you have to say things multiple times to. Will put his head down, do the work, will learn everything. And I really... been a frustrating year, but I think that is one exciting thing to look forward to with the Miami Heat is what that duo is going to be. And we'll see what, this all ends up with. Pretty meaningless game coming into this, but I think it's going to be fun to see some young guys. This is the other thing that I wanted to mention on Bam. So Bam tonight hits 4 3-pointers. Which was a career high. I imagine that's it for the regular season. So he's going to finish the season with 79 threes. So that would be 79 threes. And how many did he take tonight? 6? 79 threes on 221 attempts. And that really would put him in line. A lot of people called me a quack and said it was too much and greedy. Not my radio co-host or anything like that. Leroy. But I tweeted this out today because Anthony Chang tweeted, Bam Adebayo continues to take and make threes. He's shooting 19 of 34, which is 55.9% from three-point range over his last 10 games. But this is the cool thing about it. And I see a lot of guys doing the Bam KG shadow, which I don't love, even though KG's probably like the Celtic I hate the least because it was an unbelievable player. I liked Uncut Gems. And I do like I like Kevin Garnett's game. But it is what it is. Like, I can't love Kevin Garnett, so I can't love anybody for that. It's like Rajon Rondo today sitting on a podcast with D. Wade. It's like I appreciate what a great dude D. Wade is to sit down with Rajon Rondo. I can't get over it. I am too petty from that stuff. And so I don't like when people are like, oh, Bam is, when they do Bam is KG. Bam's getting his KG on. F that dude. Bam Adebayo, to me, I think for his mark has been in line with Chris Bosh. Like, I think that is the arc that you're looking for. People had always said, oh, wouldn't Chris Bosh be the perfect front court mate for Bam Adebayo because of the shooting? Because people didn't have the comments that Bam could get his shooting going. Well, if you take a look at Chris Bosh's arc and his move from three-pointers in his season, his second season with the Miami Heat, his third season with the Miami Heat, 28 years old, he shot 21. This is regular season. In 74 games, Chris Bosh shot 74 threes, made 21 of them. The next season, which would be the final year of the Big Three and the years that they made the run to the NBA Finals and lost in 5 to the San Antonio Spurs. I believe he had a Big Three in one of those finals games. But Chris Bosh, like, it really, the 3-point Chris Bosh revolution really happened in the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. Like, that was where it's like, oh, Chris Bosh is shooting threes now? This is a thing? And then it slowly became more of a thing, and then it really became a thing when he was 29 years old, and in his fourth season with Miami, he went from 74 attempts total for the season from downtown to 218 attempts the next season. And how many did Chris Bosh make that year when he shot 218 threes? 74 makes from downtown that regular season in 79 games. You look at Bam Adebayo. This last season when he really started dabbling in the three, he didn't shoot it as many times as Chris Bosh. You know, it kind of became like a second half thing for him, but we started seeing it, and he made 15 from downtown that season, including the buzzer beater for the Detroit game on 42 attempts. So he didn't even shoot it as much as Chris Bosh, but was nearly in the make range there for him. But this season, right there with Chris Bosh at 27, while Chris Bosh, when he did it, was 29 when he was really making the revolution, the jump into it in his year 29 season. Bam Adebayo, 79 makes, 221 attempts. Nearly on the nose of Chris Bosh when Chris Bosh really put that into his repertoire and really became a three-point shooter along with the rest of his game. And I find it fascinating. You know, I saw this thing the other day, too, of it was when Carmelo made the Hall of Fame, and there was this thing on, I didn't watch the whole segment, but I saw a Twitter clip of it, and it was Stephen A. Smith saying that Carmelo Anthony was supposed to be this has always been said, Carmelo Anthony was supposed to be really with LeBron and D Wade, but he never did. He didn't sign the same contract as those guys. He also didn't have the same agent. I don't believe he did. One of the things that helped with all this is that all of the Heat guys, all the big three, were under the same umbrella. But Stephen A. Smith said that he thought for sure the Heat would have three-peated if they had Carmelo instead of Chris Bosh, and I couldn't disagree more. It's not that I wouldn't think that you have LeBron, you have Dwayne Wade, and you had Chris Bosh, or you had Carmelo. Could they not figure it out? They probably would have. Maybe they would have won the same amount, but Carmelo, as one of the great scorers of all time, what else was he bringing to the table besides that? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I get you. Like, if LeBron would have not screwed the pooch in the 11 finals and you had somebody scoring like Carmelo, I get that one, but I don't think you don't win the 13 finals against the Spurs without him, and you don't win the year where you beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals without him. I just think that his responsibility and importance to the Heat, and they've always said, I mean, not to the players, they obviously say it, that Chris Bosh was the most important piece. But it's funny, but they don't win those championships without him, and his defense just got so much better. And I think the thing that's interesting about the two of these guys is, yeah, I've put the spotlight on the three ball, but I think they're almost they're so alike, I think, in a lot of the things that they've taken as far as like aggressiveness, assertiveness, alpha stuff, all of that stuff that people hit Bam with. Chris Bosh dealt with a lot of that stuff. It's just that, and underappreciation as well. I think the thing that is the difference about them is that Chris Bosh came into the league an elite scorer and a very polished scorer, and morphed himself and molded himself into a good defender in Spo's system. And Bam, almost on the opposite, was like an elite, gifted, can guard anybody in the league and still can, and morphed and molded and crafted himself into a very good offensive player. So I think it's interesting. Like, they kind of started at two different points, but there's a lot of parallels between these two guys. And I know that they've talked on things as well, and they've had some interactions with each other. I do wish Chris Bosh, I hope is having a lovely life. It's been scary. It was awesome to see him at the Goran Dragic thing, and it was cool. I think he put some posts up about being on the Redeem team, which made the Hall of Fame this year, so good for him. But he, I think from the standpoint, I remember asking him about, Bam and things like this. You guys can go look at the interviews on the channel. But just saying, like, yeah, I think he believed that, like, Bam, like, the sky's the limit for him. He can do it. Just like it's just a matter of, like, taking that pressure and what do you want to do. So I think it's interesting because I think there was a point this year where people thought, hey, Bam, just throw the three-pointer in the trash, dude. Like, don't stop doing it. And now you're talking about a year where he is right there with CB, who I think, if you ask the Heat fans, like, who's the big man you trusted shooting the most, you would probably say Chris Bosh. And they don't call him Big Shot Bosh for nothing. And now you have Bam Adebayo shooting right there with him. So, fun game tonight, even with the stakes being whittled down to nothing. The Heat still break records. And now that your two stars put a bow on their season, Tyler Herro, and I think for Tyler, I'll give some final thoughts on him here just for his regular season because I imagine it's over. We'll do, I'm sure, a lot of big picture Tyler stuff, but just some final thoughts on him is that, one, he had a huge goal of being an all-star. And then I think the biggest thing for him is, dude, he got through a season. He missed what? He's going to end up missing 5 games. So, I mean, and one of them is just I think like 2 of them were from sickness. And one of them is going to be from rest. So only like 2 are like by body injuries. You got to tip it to a guy who had durability questions. Pat Riley called him fragile. To get out there game in and game out, and then, had to ride the idea of, like, everyone's trying to take him out offensively. Everybody's trying to run him off the 3-point line. There's a little bit too of, like, did he get that? Did that slip in his head? I don't know. But I think that from my standpoint, very impressive year for him. There's really no other way to put it. Last game notwithstanding, yeah, it was a goofy decision, but for the most part, it's been a pretty outstanding offensive year from him. And I do think you've seen a lot of growth from a guy who just turned, 25 years old, has a lot of league experience now. And, for him to take the challenge from Pat Riley and give the Miami Heat a full season's worth. Yes, the season has not ended. I'm not thrilled with everything, but just from a big, I'm not thrilled. I'm not saying for Tyler. I'm saying just for the team. Obviously, no one's thrilled with them being at a 7 games under 500 and this. But individually, marvelous year for him. And they'll get some well-deserved rest on Sunday, and we'll see what these guys can do when it comes to the play-in game coming up next Wednesday in Chicago.